Hello, I'm Ken Fobb. This is NewsNet, Baton Rouge. Grab yourself a tea or coffee as I go over with you headlines and news from our local area and region. Nearly 217 new laws have begun to take effect in the state of Louisiana beginning this month. The following are only a few examples. Medical marijuana patients can now inhale cannabis. People desiring to get married must be at least 16 years old. Parents who get into scuffles with referees at their children's sports events will now face stiffer penalties. Animal shelters can no longer take in strays and unwanted animals for the sole purpose of euthanizing them for research purposes. Nor can shelters just sell animals for research or experimentation in Louisiana. And there are now new tougher anti-hazing laws. And Louisiana now has new laws dealing with car seats and booster seats that parents are required to have installed in their vehicles for the safety of their young children. For instance, a child younger than 2 years old must be restrained in a rear-facing child safety seat until he or she reaches a certain weight or height limit. A child who is older than 2 years old and has outgrown the rear-facing child safety seat must now be restrained in a forward-facing child safety seat with an internal harness until the child reaches a certain weight or height limit. Any child who is at least 4 years old and has outgrown the forward-facing safety seat must now be restrained by a belt positioning booster seat that is secured with a seat belt, and a child who is at least 9 years old or has outgrown the booster seat can use the car's adult seat belt if it fits correctly. East Baton Rouge Parish authorities were recently trying to determine the cause of death for a work release inmate who was found unresponsive at Heck Industries in Baton Rouge. On July 31st, detectives were conducting a death investigation after an inmate identified as 50-year-old George Merritt was found unresponsive in a chair located in a break room. A Heck Industries employee found George Merritt and immediately began CPR after calling 911. Emergency medical services arrived and tried to revive and save him, but without success. So far, investigators have not reported any signs of foul play. The coroner's office will release the results of an autopsy soon as to the cause of death. But the investigation is still ongoing, and I will keep you updated. So please keep watching. Meanwhile, the body of a Kentwood, Louisiana woman was finally found recently in a remote area of Colorado after she had been swept away in water rapids a few weeks ago while on a summer trip with her husband. Colorado authorities report that the body of Miss Tessie Strickland was found 4 miles downriver where a creek empties into and along the Rio Grande River, and her body has been positively identified. Tessie Strickland, a 64-year-old, and her husband Tommy Strickland were caught in a quickly swelling current that flows over a passable 4-wheel drive road. The Jeep they were driving stalled in the water and was carried downstream. And as the couple climbed onto the roof of the vehicle and attempted to jump to dry land, they were swept under the water. Only Tessie's husband was able to pull himself to the bank, but could not find Tessie. Her surviving husband, Tommy Strickland, is a St. Helena Parish volunteer fire chief. Finally, from Plaquemine, Louisiana, dozens of men and women of our military community recently said their goodbyes to their families on Wednesday as they departed to serve and defend our great country. After many prayers and hugs and tears, they were deployed to Iraq along with other brave men and women as part of the 832nd Engineer Detachment. They will be leaving Louisiana and their families for a 9-month deployment for military and training exercises, and we truly do appreciate and are grateful for their service. These have been headlines and news from our local area and region. I'm yours truly, Ken Fobb, and I'll see you next time right here on NewsNet, Baton Rouge. Have a safe and great weekend.